YouTube still looks like this, is that? Okay.
I mean, as far as I know, I don't, we normally don't use it up here.
No, it's like time for a haircut.
Is there a way you can get your phone? Do you tune into YouTube to see if we're live?
Yeah, but you can do it. You try to close. But it's just, it just.
Sorry to single you out, Eric, as the most technologically savvy person here.
It's like,
All right. Mr. Mayor, we'll have you call the meeting to
all
order.
right, with it being right, 6 o'clock, we'll get started tonight. This is a special joint meeting of the City Council and Economic Development Authority. And Abby, I guess if you just want to note roll. All right, if you're able, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. We have one item on the agenda. We have downtown redevelopment proposal here. And Mark, I guess maybe Mark or Abby will kick us off.
Yeah, I'll just introduce the topic here and we'll throw it to our developer pretty quickly. Thanks for coming out on kind of a short notice here, especially the City Council. I know this was a regularly scheduled EDA meeting night, but thanks to the council members for making this happen. We don't do this for every development. We don't bring everybody in before we have all the details in front of us. But this is the proposal that you're going to see tonight is a pretty significant development in our downtown, or redevelopment, I should call it. And I just want to emphasize tonight that this is in the very, very early stages, which is both good and bad. It's bad because we don't have all the details for you. We're not going to have all the answers as to whether or not this meets this part of the code or that part of the code. What we can say, and you saw in the brief memo we put in the packet, is that we do feel like this development meets the general intent of our comp plan and our master plan for downtown, and that it is something worthy of being in front of you, right? So staff has not fully vetted this. We don't have nearly enough details to do that, but we have looked at it enough to know this is something of interest to the city, and it would be, it's of a size and scale that is pretty transformative, and wanted to therefore bring it to you early, so that the good side of the bringing it to you early is that we can have real meaningful input on the design of it, and or tell the developer, potential developer, what you like and don't like about it, and have a little bit more of a chance to give that input before we're so far down the line that it's tough to make changes. So I always struggle with that throughout my career. It's been a tough thing. Do you bring stuff to boards like yourselves and the public when there's very little detail and you don't have much to go on, but yet you have an opportunity to make meaningful input? Or do you bring it to them at a stage when, boy, change is really hard at that point because we're hundreds of thousands of dollars into design and all that kind of stuff, and then, but you have all the answers for people, you can answer all those questions. So I do think when it's something of this size and scale, and the investment to get to that point of the amount of details that you would need to have a fully vetted project, I do think that this works out well to have us come before you and just introduce a project. Then after the presentation, we're going to have just some time to have general discussion, offer some feedback. This is a meeting, but we're not intending to take any action tonight. We're not going to say approved and tell them to go, right? We're going to say, here's our general thoughts on it. We're not asking you to say, now section 3.2 of the code says you got to do this. We're just asking you, do you like it? Do you not like it? What about it do you not like? What about it do you like? And let them know so they can continue their due diligence on the project. It's worth noting that the project does encompass more than one property, and some of those properties are not owned by the prospective developer. Some of that property is city-owned property. We have some kind of pieces of property that are all kittywampus in there that kind of form that roadway that exists now, the kind of the center of the parking aisle, if you will. And then there's some other privately held parcels as well. So with that, I think I'll just hand it over to Dan here. So, unless, Abby, did you have anything that you wanted to add? All right.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, council members for coming tonight, and EDA, and everyone else in the audience tonight. Very exciting project that we put together here. I would probably equate this to like when we did Lighthouse Lost, almost eight years ago now, we did a visioning session, this is kind of what I would see as like a visioning session here to share thoughts, ideas, design concepts we see for this block, highest and best use, and just a really transformational project downtown. And I think just in the industry in general, as we get into it, it's not just an apartment project, it's not just a condo project, but there's a lot of elements here, I think, that really are unique to the area, that will bring people to the area, and that will sustain downtown for a very long time. So I'd also like to introduce John Harris, Harris Architects. He drew Lighthouse Lost for us. He's done several projects of ours. We worked with John for about 10 years, very experienced, been in the industry for about 40 years, and so he put this masterpiece together. We gave him the elements, the unit mixes, the thoughts, the ideas, restaurant, rooftop, event center, things like that, and he put everything together. So we're very excited tonight to go through this concept with you. And because this is going to be an integrative project to the city to the downtown in a couple different ways. One is parking. I know it's always been a struggle for people to put their arms around parking, and there's not enough parking. How do we get more parking? So I think some of the concepts that we're going to talk about tonight really help parking, help downtown, help the community park downtown and enjoy the lake, because that's really the centerpiece here, of course, is the lake. So just on a 10,000 feet level here, I'll get into just the makeup of the project, which is going to include your first and second floor are going to be parking. Okay, so we know parking is a big deal. So for total parking is going to be about 285 stalls. As you can see, first floor is 88, second floor is 85, and the surface, which is exterior parking, is going to be 112, total 285. So, and then the thought here would be the main floor parking, which would be the on-grade parking. It's not going to go beneath because the water table are going to be on-grade first floor, and then second floor is going to be above that for parking. Is going to be municipal parking, which is going to be shared parking. So what that means is if people want to come downtown, if there's no parking, they can park in the garage. So there may be a door, there may not be a door, but it's going to be municipal parking. And then the second level is going to be specifically for the owners of the condo units and or the hotel guests and or apartments. So generally speaking, there's going to be 31 hotel units here. Primarily going to be facing the north. And we'll see more, we have more site plans of each level here, but I'm just kind of going from the top down. And then there's going to be about 85 condos, which are going to be condos, maybe some apartments mixed in there as well, but all of the lake-facing units will be condos. I think the condos will be about 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, maybe 1,300 square feet. So they're going to be bigger. And the average apartment, which would be a non-lakeside, would be about 750 to 800 square feet. And then you have your conventional hotel units, which is, there's about 31 of them, which is going to be around 380 square feet or so, kind of a typical hotel unit room. Restaurant is going to be on the first floor, about 6,000 square feet. And that's going to be followed with retail on the south end of the project, which is in yellow there. Be about 2,300 square feet of retail. And then I would say the showstopper is going to be a 6th floor event center. That's going to be around 8,000 square feet. That is going to be for the public. It's not going to be exclusive to the project, but it's going to be a panoramic view because it's going to be on glass. So that's kind of a quick rundown here. And so for here, We'll start to go floor to floor, explain a little bit more about the unit mix, where the unit mixes are, and the unique, kind of one of the unique properties of the project is there's two courtyards. There's a courtyard facing the lake, and then there's a courtyard facing Highway 61. So we'll look more at that, but that's unique. There's going to be a pool as well. John, why don't we step into this and start going forward?
Okay, thank you, Dan. I remember we were here, I think it was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, with a similar project, but one that was really just a parking ramp and a restaurant and apartments. Really expanded our vision at the direction of Dawn companies to include all the things that Dan was just discussing. And so I want to kind of go over the site plan in general and the ideas behind it as we move up the building, and then we'll get into a lot of images of the project as well. We're maintaining for vehicular circulation, we're maintaining the curb cut off 61 down on the south end, and we're keeping access from the north, from the smaller traffic circle. So I'll be two-way traffic there. The entry to the apartment, which is the main part of the project, is in this location. It has a direct path then down towards the lake. And again, like Dan said, everything is based upon the lake primarily. And there's also, then as part of that, there's also a path down here on the south end that goes by the retail. It also goes down to the lake. So as we're in this center parking area, circulation zone, we have a small pocket park, which might be a dog walking park, might be something else. We haven't really gotten into the details of that. On the north end, we have entrance to our restaurant, and it's an entrance to the restaurant and the hotel. If you've ever been to the Hewing Hotel downtown, and I think you mentioned Matchstick
Yeah,
in Stillwater.
Crosby and Stillwater. It's a similar situation there.
So the hotel can be entered from the north. It also could be entered from the east side here. We have a generous hotel lobby, circulation core, very generous restaurant that kind of steps around this corner and gives a lot of different options for dining. Then on the west side, we have some walk-up condos / apartments that are going to be 2-level, and there'll be about 1,200 square feet each. And we've got a total of 6 of those. One of the reasons that's nice is it ends up hiding a lot of the parking ramp because, as Dan mentioned, we need to be above the water table and really don't want the headaches associated with going down and having to pump out water constantly. One of the design determinants in wanting to fit in but also stand out at the same time is the building here that Gone Companies owns and occupies with some other tenants. So we picked up on some of the brick colors and some other details. Took a little bit more of a modern approach to it, but feel like the buildings really kind of talk to each other. They're really in close proximity. In terms of access, I think Dan mentioned it, at the lower level, we enter on grade for the parking, and that circulates around and out the same way. That'll also, serve the public as this parking here does as well. So for the parking, for the public, we have almost 200 spaces. The apartment dwellers, condo dwellers, will enter on this ramp on the south end, which is a good way to split the public and the private vehicular circulation. They will also exit out the same way. All right, so these are a little bit more deep. I got a delay, I'm sorry, on this computer, it's okay. Here. I didn't touch it. All right, so here's some, a little bit more detailed floor plans. You can see on the left, we have level 1, which is all parking. The entrance to the apartment with a small lobby. Retail also on the south end. Restaurant core, hotel. Second floor is where the hotel rooms start. We have a 2-story space here. You'll see that on the images for the hotel. And some residual storage space. It's a large complex with multiple users. We need some kind of flex space there. The second story of the walk-ups and additional parking. On the third level is where the condos start, coming through here. And like Dan mentioned, what we did is we split these 2 courtyards so we wouldn't have just one long straight building. We jogged it and created a smaller courtyard on the west side with a pool and a spa, which is in this area. The spa will include exercise, but also spa services, restrooms. Those will be primarily available, I believe, to the residents, but we haven't really gotten to the detail of who gets to access it. The courtyard that faces the lake is nice because it gives an outdoor space above the park for the condo dwellers. So we haven't really designed exactly what's going to go on out there, but there could be recreational opportunities, there could be dog walking, there could be just lounging. All the units have generous decks which face the lake. Lots of light in all the units. I got something. That's probably gonna go back. Okay, on the 4th floor, just the arrows. There's the arrows. So on level 4, I'm not going to touch my mouse. You can see in the pink on the north end, we have hotel rooms. Those average about 350 square feet each. And they are separated by having their own stair and elevator core there. So there's privacy controls and security controls between the condos and the hotel. The 5th floor is all residential. And like Dan said, kind of the crown jewel is on the 6th floor. The only thing on the 6th floor is the event center of about 800 square feet. So here's an image. I don't know if you can see it, okay?
Seems dark.
You hit the light switch, please.
Better, you wanna go all the way?
Okay, it's gonna get us better. So you can, this shot shows the courtyard that faces the lake. You can see the building steps back on the south end to create more opportunities for outdoor space, but also kind of a deference to the residential across the street there. You can see down on the lower left-hand side, there's an outdoor area that's connected with retail. And, you know, the way I view it, it'd be kind of ideal as a coffee shop, something like that. You can see the kind of crosswalk that we head down toward the lake. And also the sidewalk that will also head to the lake off the main entrance, which is right here is the main entrance to the apartments. This is kind of a secondary entrance to the hotel, where there's a two-story space here. So these first shots are aerials, and then we can kind of go down low for a little bit more detail. I don't think I have to tell you where this is, but it's looking out toward the lake, obviously. And you can see the way the restaurant is stepping around, the hotel steps around, the event center kind of sits up here on the 6th floor. Here are the walk-up units. Down here, the courtyard that contains the pool. These are all apartment units here. Looking northeast, you can see more of those walk-up units and the retail and the curb cut off of 61. I'll go through these pretty quickly because we have a lot of them. Sort of looking down south, showing the Vaughn's headquarters there. You can see the bricks are very similar. The entrance to the apartment on this end, restaurant here. It's a large outdoor seating area for the restaurant. There's also a seating area for the hotel that's accessed off the two-story space. This is a view at 61 on Broadway, kind of showing again, the event center, the hotel, restaurant, walk-up units, apartments, pool.
Just a quick note on the lockup. So the lockups would be 2 levels. So you just really can't see that at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn lock off.
No, but that's,
You can get a little bit better view on the TVs on the side here, you can see a little bit.
yeah, you go and see
Yeah,
one
this is
better.
very dark.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Sorry, projector.
And so the idea with the pool is to have more of a solarium style, so it can be used in wintertime, and then summertime you'd have garage doors or whatever, so it would feel more like an open air pool. But that, I mean, that would just be an interaction point from the condo users or the owners to the hotels, guests, they would all share that space. As well as the apartment homes as well.
Should I just try something once there's a color mode, so let's do the same thing, just like that.
Wow, there you go, perfect.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, you can see the windows.
There's a few different modes, I can try a couple different modes if you want, but.
You have someone there maybe closer to, right? So, you know, so I think the overall material selection here is, the cream color is gonna be like a buff brick masonry. And then you're gonna have metals, that'll be accents, and then you're gonna have a red brick on the other side, and you have a red brick ribbon or band here you can see above the walkouts. But as we go around, but primarily glass and masonry, I would say, makes up probably what, 75–80% of the project.
Yeah, there's very little metal. The metal is really used more for accent. And we have a third brick. The brick for the walkouts is more of a kind of a deep cocoa color.
Yeah.
Now I gotta be able to see what you're doing.
That's a little flushed.
Okay, the same view is kind of looking north. You kind of see that event center sitting there on top. the solarium that Dan was mentioning, it's really important to us that, and we've done so by kind of setting back these units off 61 to heavily landscape and create that area and create a space that feels really secure. All the units are raised up off the ground about 3.5 feet. They've got a small stoop, but then they also have a generous deck so they can sit outside. People can sit outside and not feel like people are running right from them. Just a little further down the way, showing the retail, the apartments above.
And then you notice too the balconies.
Can we go back?
Sure. On the southern side, and then which would be facing the western side, are all integrated within the actual project. And so there's a roof overhead, and then we have some hanging balconies that you'll see on the courtyard side facing the lake.
Yeah, we felt that it was important. I don't know, we just didn't want to kind of bolt on a bunch of balconies. It just didn't seem like the project really deserved more. So the units that have the external balconies, metal balconies, are set back, so they really won't even be hardly seen at all except from a distance.
So I think it's important too maybe to talk with John a little bit about elevations and where this stands, starting like the top of the second floor, right? Is that 30 feet?
Yes.
So then, where the courtyard is on the lakeside, that's 30 feet. So if you think of the plaza, that's going to be about 22 feet, 23 feet. So the units will stand above the plaza and the other townhome units on the lake above.
I think it was so you can see the way the building is stepped back from the area where most people are going to be walking and hanging out, and actually stepped back all the way to the north, kind of in deference to the existing building there and the fact that there are going to be people there. We didn't really want to have the building going straight up. In addition to giving the benefit of having all the outdoor space for the units that face the lake. And this is sort of the main corner of the project. You can see the outdoor heating area, and that's very generous. I think it's 20 by 30. We have another one above that, sort of creating this sort of negative space in the corner, lightening the corner up, restaurant wrapping around, entrance to the apartment here, and then this is a 2-story space in the hotel lobby. The event center and a very large corner deck looking out toward the lake. So the event center is really going to be something that's unique in the Twin Cities area. There's really not going to be anything like it. This is a view that primarily shows the hotel. And that buff-colored brick can really be a striking contrast to the sort of cocoa-colored brick that's wrapping around the base and then goes around the west side. We have some, the amount of flat panel metal that we have is up in this area. We really wanted to limit the metal and really primarily do this out of brick. Metal is really there for accent. Okay, that's it for the images, now any one final thing you wanna do?
Did we didn't turn up the light stuff for you?
We just forwarded the animation now.
I know, just so you can see what he's doing.
Oh.
No. It probably just needs a whole lot of explanation. You see the parking is actually located, one part of it over the retail. That's what those sort of contrasting brick patterns are. See the scale fits nicely with the existing building on the site. Same brick on this side. And that's the end.
Oh, you just had it back down. I know what happened.
Sure you go.
So, Mark, where do you wanna start, just input or just more questions and how to?
Yeah, maybe just some preliminary questions about, if everyone needs clarification on the programming of the building or what their thoughts are on expected rents, or expected price points. Those type of things are all good questions. And I don't know, you want to kind of finish up with just talking about how you're approaching this in terms of investors and property acquisition, and all that kind of thing. So, maybe, I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if you want to just have some clarification questions first, and then we'll kind of let Dan finish up with some of those things.
Dan, will you remind us how many stories is the Lighthouse 5?
5.
Got just a quick disclosure. I do have a financial interest in that corridor there, so just let everybody know that before we start talking.
Well, I don't know if I need to disclose I'm the property owner on the lake, or one of them on the lake there, so I don't know if I need to. It's good, abstain from anything, but, so I have lots of.
Transparency is the best policy, so yeah.
I think it's usually best policy to disclose when you have a financial interest in the project itself. I think Chris owns some land through there, but my understanding is you're not a business partner in this project right now.
No. Affiliation.
What is the range of rent?
Sorry?
The rental rates, how do they compare to Lighthouse Labs?
Probably similar to Lighthouse Lofts. It's gonna be a market rate project, so they may all be condos.
So they are rentals and not, they are rentals? Is that
They may all be condos, so they may all be homeownership.
ownership? Okay.
So we might just parcel each of them out and just see how it goes for condos.
So I think it makes a difference if it's apartments versus home ownership, I think.
Yeah, that's why we want condo. We want to make, I mean, the desire for the developer, and I'll just say Patrick Gauck would be, is that we get local buy-in. That people buy condos, live here, stay here, have a vested interest in the project. So that's our desire, number one. How the hotels and condos will work together is gonna, I think it'd be interesting. So how do we get this concept? I think if you know, when travels around cross country now, they do a VRBO, they do an Airbnb. I think the Motel 8s, you know, the Holiday Inn Expresses, I mean, they have a place, but I don't know that if you want an experience, I think you're gonna do something like this. And so what does this do for the town? Well, it does a lot for the town. It keeps people in town to stay for hockey tournaments, for basketball tournaments, for family celebrations, for family get-togethers, for weddings, to bring people together, to use the lake. I mean, and we'd also love slips on the lake too, for these owners here. That would be great. More slips, the better in front. I think on the lake, because the lake is the key here, I think. So there's gonna be you could own a condo unit and you could also rent it out. You know, you'll live there the whole year. Think of it. I mean, if you have the two places, one here, one in Florida, you could potentially rent it out. You don't live here. So it's making good use of really unique spaces. So I think that's how it's gonna work together for the hotels, the condos, and then some people just are choosing not to own. They don't want to own. They're in transition. They want to rent. So we see that too. I think Lighthouse is a good example of that, of people just, now I know. So I think we kind of covered all aspects of you know, how we live in a space together. And then the restaurant, of course, and then the event center. You're not going to see anything like this. I mean, White Bear, Stillwater, Hopkins, I mean, Izetta, I mean, I don't know. I mean, so we have a really unique opportunity here because the project is situated where you're not impeding anyone's view here, which is very unique. You don't have to get that and have a lake view. So that's unique as well. How it's positioned downtown, the makeup of downtown. I don't know. We just find this a very unique time as well. So. Good questions? Eric?
So the parking ramp, you had said that would include municipal spaces or public spaces?
Yeah.
Can you, and I may have missed it, can you describe to me where the where access from somebody walking in or out of that ramp would be? Is there anything like on the 61 side as an example?
So then, these are sidewalks here. Can you see it or not?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Okay. So then, and John mentioned this, but if you're in the parking area, you need safe travel, right, to get across. And so I can't jump that high, but there's do you want to show on your cursor? There's a black line there that kind of goes right behind the plaza. That's a direct access to the lake. So
we can show it right here.
you were on the right screen, but. I mean, when people park on the outside parking there right now, I mean, they get to the lake, right?
Okay, so.
We'll maintain the connections.
So you can enter the parking right here, and there will be a door, you know, there has to be a door. So right in here, you can see there's a corridor here, or you can enter right into the ramp, walk right in. For the apartments, that is on the second floor on the south. The two levels are not interconnected.
Is there any public access to walk from the 61 side into the ramp?
Not at this point.
Into the ramp?
Yeah.
But
I suppose you could take this way here, and there could be a sidewalk here. You'll be in front of the ramp going to the second floor, and then of course to the north, you can wrap around up and come back down. So, I mean, I think so.
Pardon me?
There's access from 61 to
Oh, yeah, there can be.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess, you know, what we were primarily concerned with was access from the units, walk-up units, to the parking ramp directly behind. Didn't think that there was gonna be a whole lot of demand for anybody wanting to get into the parking ramp from the west side or even the south side, because on the south side, you have a parking ramp that's there for the retail or anybody else who wants to do that.
Eric, are you asking more about pedestrian?
Yeah, pedestrian, not driving.
Yeah, so, yeah.
You could add that. You could add that easily, I would think.
Yeah.
The other question I have is, and so I looked at the visuals and I like almost all the architectural design, but I'm picturing like a restaurant, a hotel, and most likely the apartments will want to have signage. Where are you envisioning the signage for those things to be on the building?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure we really, the signage, there will be signage somewhere out.
So we contemplated, where do you do the drop off for the hotel? Do you do it on the outside? Do you do it kind of off the roundabout to the north? It's just so tight. Everything's so tight, so we said, we'll make it inside, so you drop off inside. So whether you're using the restaurant, whether you're going to the park, or whether you're a hotel guest, that's where you go, that's where you park.
Yeah, I'm thinking someone driving in and looking for Gone Hotel. I don't know what hotel brand you're gonna have, but they'll be looking for that and they'll be looking for a sign. So I'm just kind of trying to picture where you would
for
put
sure.
that on the
Probably
Yeah.
right, somewhere right there.
Probably wall signage.
Yeah.
As opposed
Wall
to
signage, you know, you have a
Somewhere
blade
on
sign,
his
a
face.
nice blade sign. But yeah, that will be important, of course, to direct people in the right spot, so people don't get confused, I
And
think.
there'll be we need to sign parking as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, somewhere at this intersection. I'm really not sure the exact location, but I think it'll definitely be visible.
I think we'll have a hotel operating partner here, that it's a boutique hotel, right? Not a branded flagship.